Greetings. I just thought I would do a little clip on some of the current issues in the United States and around the world, especially as it regards racism. Now, something that a lot of people might overlook is that anthropologists and scientists who have been geneticists, all these great men of science who have been looking up science and scientific facts for centuries have come to one conclusion, that the original man, the original human, came from Africa. And as they start to spread through the world, we were nomads. Some of us still are. As we started spreading through the world, we, in some cases, some might have come up and intermingled with Neanderthals, and some of us may have continued along the path that we were on and refused to mix with Neanderthals, so we maintain a relatively pure bloodline. So you have black people and you have white people, but you also have white Neanderthals, which are beings who have little human DNA and are primarily Neanderthal DNA. Their white scientists have said that the human has African DNA because the hominis the hominis is of African descent. Over a period of time, after Africans started roaming, there's proof that Africans have traveled to the north outside of Africa. As we can see in recent times, there was a dust cloud coming from Africa to North and South America. So we know that there are winds that can make things travel to North America. And yes, Africans will travel into North America. There are African coins found in ancient relics that have been dug up, proof that Africans were traveling to North and South America before Columbus. What is overlooked is the fact that the white man, out of his jealousy, and yes, they see themselves as polar opposites to the black man. So they acknowledge that they are white and we are black. And seeing themselves as polar opposites, they have set out to prove somehow or the other, for some odd reason, that they are superior. The African never tried to prove supremacy. Why? Because the African has dominant DNA. Subconsciously, we know what the facts are. Every other human being who interbreeds with the African, the offspring comes out predominantly African. So genetically, naturally, the African is the natural dominant species. An African woman can give birth to any child you see on this planet, as long as she has a husband who looks like any one of them. And I have them in my family. I have an aunt who has two sons, just two sons. One of them looks like a black man. He's got big bongo dreadlocks. And the other one, unless you see his mom next to him, you would think he's a white man. So I know this for a fact. The African is the only one who can bring out all these genetic characteristics, because we are the root of all those genetic characteristics. The San people in Africa to this day still look like Chinese. So we know these things. These are things we've never fought for. The white man in his jealousy and seeing himself as polar opposites, and I guess subconsciously acknowledging that he's inferior, set out to prove his supremacy, his superiority. An oxymoron, a ridiculous thought that cannot be proven and will never be real. The only supreme characteristic of the white man that has been proven to this day is his ability to kill, to destroy. And they have done it. Once they got into contact with gunpowder from the Chinese, they went out and decided to wreak havoc on the planet, and that's what they did. That's what they still do. The point of the video is to show Donald Trump as an ancient reincarnation of a white racist supremacist in modern times. He is ignorant of most facts, but what he has in his heart, like most of them in the past, is the supremacy of the white man. So he will do everything possible, everything he thinks is necessary to prove that the white man is superior to everybody. And this is a trick they've managed to play successfully on the minds of many non-white peoples, because you have Indians from India who think they're superior to the black man. This is folly. I, being originally from the South American country of Guyana, my ancestors of course are African, I see this because you have Indians in Guyana who think they are supreme, they're superior to the black man in Guyana. Why? Because they have a stronger economic background, and that was because of the fact that they were indentured laborers, so they got some money for what they did. And unlike the black man, they did not work for free and beaten to death. So they've come up with this belief system that they're superior to the black man. My reminder to them is that no superior caste Indian ever went as an indentured laborer anyway. So the fact that you ended up in Guyana proved that you were an inferior caste compared to the other castes who remained in India, and you subjected yourself to work for scraps, to pick corn and cotton and plant tobacco and sugarcane in Guyana. So that doesn't make you superior. That just makes you a whore. You did it for the money. Trump, in his ignorance, and I said this in his ignorance because he is a very ignorant person. The fact that he thought that Norway or one of these Scandinavian, I can't remember the country, was a part of Russia just proves his ignorance of facts of the world. Trump is a very ignorant person. But like Trump, there are very many ignorant white people in America to this day and around the world. England, Germany, Norway, Sweden, Spain, you name it. Trump epitomizes the white ignorance or white inability to deal with facts. He, in his ignorance, has set out to garner his base around the flag of racist supremacy of the white man. So everything the black man does today in America, Bubba Wallace, the Black Lives Matter movement, you name it, he will try to destroy it. Another characteristic of those who have acknowledged inferiority. Because if you're supreme, if you're superior, with all you have done to us over 400 plus years, we are still here, still succeeding, still excelling despite the economic and other hardships you've put us through. We are still here. That just proves we are superior. There's no if and no doubt about it. So now he launches attacks on Bubba Wallace and anybody or anything who comes up to speak for equality and justice, while at the same time defending those things that serve to highlight, to enhance white supremacy. In 2020, when the rest of the world, thanks to George Floyd, sad to say, it should not have been this way. It should have been done through rational thought. However, it took the death of George Floyd, not Sandra Bland, not Trayvon Martin, not Tamir Rice, not Orlando Castile, not Eric Garner, not any one of the others who have been murdered by white supremacists before. It took George Floyd's death to bring somewhat of an awakening to the world. And a lot of people have come to realize that blacks are definitely killed by police more blatantly, more frequently than whites are. This is not only America, but America being a role model for the world after her mother, England, serves as the perfect example today. And why I say her mother, England, because the worst empire in human history is the British Empire. They have committed the most atrocious acts on the human civilization than any other in written history. And America just happens to be a daughter of Britain. So after the murder of George Floyd, a lot of people have been awakened to the injustices that black people face in America in particular and the rest of the world in general, and have come out against it. And for that, I give my utmost thanks and my humblest apologies if I had grouped them all into one group to those white humans among us. And I understand that being a white human, for fear of being considered an N-word lover, you've been quiet for centuries and allowed it to go on, besides the fact that it didn't directly affect you. And I thank you for now speaking up, because despite the fact that it still doesn't affect you, you realize that it is morally wrong as a human. And Trump continues to garner the support of his base along these racist lines. So you still have people riding around Trump 2020 and having flags and banners talking about white power. Some of them even have chants like "Make America Great Again." America was never great for non-whites. And there are some whites for whom it wasn't great also, because at the time when those whites came down to establish the colony, when they brought the blankets with smallpox to infect the natives in order to weaken their immune systems and get their land, they brought their white servants with them. And the only reason why they decided to go with the black and white ideology is because the white servants at one point started to unite with the black slaves, because they recognized that despite their color, they were all being treated equal. And so the whites decided to permeate the mental attack, the war psychology strategy that, yes, we might be treating you the way we treat the blacks, but at the same time, you are not black, and at the end of the day, you are closer associated with us, which can stand as a benefit, which can stand as a plus in your favor than it would for the blacks. So from that day until this day, the black and white came into play. What most white people do not understand, do not recognize, is that despite the fact that it has gone on for centuries, a time is coming, well, it will end. There was a demonstration at the Stone Mountain Park on the 4th of July weekend with a group of black people that showed that there are blacks who are also armed. And the term minority, which some might think refers to our numerical strength in America. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It does not reflect the numerical strength. It is supposed to subliminally expose a black mental inferiority to the white man. Another fallacy of the white man, because most of their ancestors, the Greeks namely, were in their majority educated by Egyptians in Egypt, Africa, Egypt meaning black in Africa. So you have these groups are now coming together to show that we also have numerical and military strength. And though this is not something I would love to see, it is something that has been made up as an obvious necessity by the likes of Trump and his kind, that until the black man can develop the mindset, the brutal mindset of the white man, the same mindset that the white man had when he put the black man between two horses and ripped him apart alive, the mindset that the white man had when he buried a black man or a Native American man up to his neck and tarred his head or put molasses on his head to be eaten alive by ants, the mindset that the white man had to go into a school of Native American children and slaughter them all because they knew that it would diminish their generation or it would put them back a generation or two. The mindset that these white Carolinian police officers had of starting a massacre of N words to put them back a few generations. And until blacks understand that this is the mindset that we need to develop, not only in America, but around the world, wherever our lives are threatened by inferior genetics, in order to keep the human species alive, we have to develop a somewhat similar mindset. Be like the enemy, but not become the enemy. These things will continue. And I like the demonstration I saw in Stone Mountain also, although I don't believe a lot in telegraphing punches. I think we should adapt a lot of their strategies, do things without cameras, do things on the low, do things incognito, do things undercover, but do strategic things. It's a game of chess. And until we can do that, we will not be able to bring creatures like Trump and his kind to their knees. There is a need for us to wake up, wise up, and rise up and acknowledge that Black Lives Matter, that without the Black life, there would be no life on this planet. And I'm not saying that other lives don't matter, but at this time, other lives are not as much in danger or under threat as the Black life is. Wake up, wise up, and rise up. Black Lives Matter.